If you're married and your marriage is in trouble and you want to do something about it, but you don't know what to do, well, in this video, we're going to show you the first step that you need to take to get your marriage back.
That's right. And the cool thing is that this one thing is so powerful that you don't even need your spouse to be on board to do it. We call it the 100% solution.
But before we reveal the 100% solution, please subscribe to our channel, leave a comment below, and share this video with somebody that you know will find value in it. A question that we get all the time is, what if I'm the only one in the relationship that wants things to change? In other words, what if my mate isn't willing to work on this, or worse, doesn't even think there's anything wrong? I want to save my marriage, or I want to improve my marriage, but my mate isn't on board to do this with me. In other words, can I do this alone? Can I make a difference and actually turn things around without any effort on the part of my mate?
The answer is that we always hope that a couple is embarking on the journey of improving their marriage together, because there is so much synergy and collaboration when that happens. But the reality, though, is this: no matter what your situation, you alone are the best chance for you to get what you want out of your marriage and your life. This is because you are the only person that you have control over. Oftentimes we would like to think that we can control our mate, but we can't. We can manipulate them, but that's not the same thing, nor is it an act of love. But what we can do is influence our mate, and we can inspire them. We can be the stimulus to them that evokes new behaviors that are consistent with what we want in our own relationship. We can offer them an environment that promotes and inspires the very energy, love, and actions that we so desire from them. And we do this by becoming the kind of person who has the marriage that you aspire to having.
What we mean by this is that when you work on yourself, when you deal with your own issues and you start bringing more love to the table, the environment around you changes, and the marriage that you want so badly, it just begins to manifest itself. Because when you start living at your highest potential, when you start loving completely, when you start taking responsibility for your relationship, then good things start to happen. And to start this process, you've got to stop looking at your relationship as a two-way street. You might say, but relationship is a two-way street. And people who say this are always waiting for their mate to do something, waiting for them to make the first move, waiting for them to take the first step before they reciprocate. But when you do that, you aren't living from a place of love. You're treating your relationship like it's a transaction.
That's so true. If you always wait for your mate to make the first move or the next move, you're always going to be waiting. Love isn't something you do because someone else does it first. You love because you're love. And when you love, you experience love even if it originates from yourself. Love evokes love. If you always wait for your mate to say sorry, or wait for them to show you love before you show them love, or wait for them to make you feel appreciated before you have sex with them, or wait for them to do the dishes or take out the trash before you smile at them and show them approval, then you're always going to be waiting. And in the process, you're losing valuable time.
You know, relationship is not a 50-50 proposition like so many think. It's 100-100. And that means that you, me, we've got to take 100% responsibility for our relationship. But the cool thing is that when we do this, we actually empower ourselves to do something. We empower ourselves to make a difference. We empower ourselves to be an agent of change. And the even cooler thing is that in the process, we begin to tap into our own potential. And in the process, we start to let the garbage that we've been dragging with us from the past go. We start to feel better about ourselves, and we start to love ourselves more. We start to develop self-worth. And over time, we begin to love more and with less conditions.
And while you're going through your own transformation and having your own breakthroughs, you're becoming the kind of person who attracts the kind of person you want in your life. And if you're with the person you're meant to be with, give it enough time, they will be influenced by you, inspired by you, and magnetized to you. And the cool thing is that as you grow in your own self-love and change your expectations from what can I get out of this relationship and shift it to what can I bring to this relationship, then what your mate is or isn't doing becomes less important. Does that make sense?
If you're doing this alone, maybe it's not such a bad thing. Maybe you need to do it alone. Embrace it as an opportunity to awaken your own inner awareness and start bringing your best to the table. Now, that all said, if you are doing this with your mate, forget about what they're doing or what they should be doing or what you hope they should be doing. You and your mate are not actually on the same path together, not as much as you think. You're really on parallel paths that will converge when the time is right. In other words, if you're working on your marriage at the same time, you're still kind of flying solo, because the only power that you have to change anything is the power that you have to change yourself.
The other part of this is that when you take 100% responsibility, you stop the blame game. You stop blaming anyone or anything else for what's wrong with your relationship. Because as long as you're blaming your mate and waiting for them to fulfill your conditions to win your love, affection, or approval, you're probably losing them, because in the process, you're creating an environment that actually evokes the very behavior from your mate you probably want to change. Kind of paradoxical, don't you think? You see, your power isn't in manipulation. Your power isn't in withholding love, affection, sex, or financial security. Your power is in loving unconditionally, serving your mate without expecting anything in return, and in striving to be the mate, the partner, the lover that they want and need in you. To do this, you have to stop treating your relationship transactionally.
I just want to say something about that. When we are engaged in a transaction, we're looking for an equal exchange, right? I mean, I give you $10 worth of bananas and you give me $10 in cash. But when we stop treating our relationship transactionally, we give each other things that they want and need without expecting payment. The love, the affection, the appreciation, the sex, the roses, the cooking, the cleaning, the money in the bank, all these things that are part of a marriage are to be treated as gifts to each other rather than the settling of a debt.
I want to say it a little differently. If we are always waiting for our mate to earn our love, earn our approval, our appreciation, or earn having sex with us, then what does that make us? Something to think about, isn't that right?
So I think the key distinction here is that treating your marriage like a 50-50 arrangement makes it transactional, where love is earned instead of gifted. Whereas when we take 100% responsibility for our relationship, then our mate isn't having to earn our love or pay us for our acceptance, but rather you're stepping out and you're being the person that they want and they need without expecting anything in return.
In our own relationship, I think we can each remember when we started taking full responsibility for our marriage. And it was super powerful, because when we started taking full responsibility for our relationship, we instantly stopped losing valuable time.
When we stopped blaming each other and we stopped waiting for the other person to do the right thing, when we stopped waiting for the conditions to be met before doing our part, it was impossible for things to not get better. That's why the sooner you get this, the sooner that you get control over your marriage destiny. The sooner you say to yourself, you know, I'm just going to start being the kind of person who has the husband or the wife of my dreams.
I think I would like being that person. I would really enjoy how they think and act and feel. And just being that person will evoke the very response from your mate that you've been waiting for.